You can get PS4 code, I think.
Oh, that's probably already taken. You gotta be like a first person on that.
No, but that's hard. It's super hard.
What? How? How is it hard?
Cause you gotta press it. Just try it.
Yeah, they already took it. There's no way. How much views do you have? Oh yeah, for sure it's gone. Don't even think about it. That's gone.
I'ma skip tasks, my wrist down. Anybody wanna fuck with me for benefits? I'ma skip tasks, my wrist down. Anybody wanna fuck with me for benefits now? Almighty push. I like it good. Oh, I like it good, G. I like it good, G. Hold on. Let me explain to you guys why this hurts so much. This is not just like a needle or a pin going. Destroyed them by nothing more than modified leaves, but they have barbs, microscopic barbs on their ends. So every time we pull one off, it is yanking out chunks of skin and flesh. Wow, this one on my arm is going to hurt so bad. It's so deep in there, I almost can't squeeze my arm. Alright, I think I gotta get this. I'm afraid you're gonna get like in the face, so I don't want that. They're so sharp.
Send us to someone for free food. Send it right now. Send it. Radio. I'm sorry for hating, but hating's what I do. If I don't get some freaking food, then I'ma yell at you. Send us to some.
Here's more backstory to the Quiet Room Bears. But by now you know that the Quiet Room is a room inside a mental hospital that closed down years ago. The Quiet Room itself is an entity. Inmates get put in the Quiet Room and it drives them crazier than they already are. They hack themselves to pieces and pour their blood and their madness into a new bear, creating a new Quiet Room bear, which at some point in time someone else will find that bear. It'll drive them crazy and they'll create a new Quiet Room bear. The cycle continues. The hospital, especially the rooming system, long before the first bear got made there. The room has influence over everyone in the hospital, and people get brought into the room and they would just tear themselves to pieces, and that would be that. The power and the evil of the room pretty much just stayed in the room and kind of in the hospital. But at one point, randomly, an inmate just happened to bring a teddy bear with them in the room. They pulled themselves apart and put it into the bear. The hospital staff then brought the person and the bear out of the room. Once the bear left the room, the Quiet Room knew its reach could leave the building now, and the Quiet Room Bears were born. Here's some more backstory for the Quiet Room. So I have a chunk of dry ice from buying Cuban organs off the black market, but I was thinking, here's some more back.
Rushing God. Oh,
zombie apocalypse. We need a break. I've had a lot of people contact me about why your bear should be part of the SCP Foundation. I have talked about this before in the past, but there's a lot of new people on this page, so I'll talk about it again. Before I joined TikTok, I never even heard of the SCP Foundation, to be honest. And I understand why a lot of people think the Quiet Room Bear should be a part of that, but it won't be for a couple reasons. In the story of the Quiet Room Bears that I created, there is no other kind of like evil entities and stuff that exists. The Quiet Room is the only one. And I know that the SCP Foundation did like, you know, catalog. Here's some more backstory for the Quiet Room Bears. But by now you know that the Quiet Room is a room inside a mental hospital that closed down years ago. The Quiet Room in itself is an entity. Inmates get put in the Quiet Room and it drives them crazier than they already are. They hack themselves to pieces and pour their blood and their badness into a new bear, creating a new Quiet Room bear. Which at some point in time someone else will find that bear. It'll drive them crazy, they'll create a new Quiet Room bear, and the cycle continues. But the hospital, especially the room, existed long before the first bear got made there. The room has influence over everyone in the hospital, and people will get brought into the room and they would just tear themselves to pieces, and that would be that. The power and the evil of the room pretty much just stayed in the room and kind of in the hospital. But at one point, randomly an inmate just happened to bring a teddy bear with them in the room. They pulled themselves apart and put it into the bear. The hospital staff then brought the person and the bear out of the room. Once the bear left the room, the Quiet Room knew its reach could leave the building now, and the Quiet Room Bears were born. This is session 151 of the Quiet Room Bears. This bear would move its mouth and talk and move its arms. It made little crying noises. Session 30 was the same model of bear. You can see the full video on my YouTube channel.
Oh my gosh! Where, man, I can't do this.
So this is a question I actually have. There's a couple different explanations for this. So some of the bears will have like adult parts, or some of them will have animal bones in them. Some of the hospital is open, and inmates may put in the Quiet Room where they make a Quiet Room bear. The Quiet Room is just littered with stuff in it. Toys, double parts, tools, string, stuff they use to make bears. The room in reality was probably a disgusting looking room with body parts everywhere. Similar to a lot of people looking in, it would just look like a room. The room actually looks completely different than everybody inside the room, big or small, depending on the person. If it's a person just to be
So guys, I hope you know I love everybody on my stream. And I love streaming, but it's just too long to stream today.
The bear doesn't necessarily mean that's what's in the bear, because these bears drive you mad. So if you saw a bear like this with a doll and a mouth coming out of its head, you might be going insane, and that's just how your brain sees the bear. Quiet Room gets in there. There's a section of this about names. So I finally decided to start making a lot of Quiet Room bears. I wanted to make them all unique, one-of-a-kind pieces. I never wanted to recreate the same.
My lobby is fire right now.
This one has a 1 in its back because it was the
So,
first one.
I hate that how, like, sometimes my lobby would be mega sweaty,
For me, the Quiet Room bears,
and then sometimes it would be mega
silly,
bad.
funny things. I want them to be kind of weird and disturbing and kind of awkward and gross. So the bears all have session numbers, which ties into the backstory where when inmates in the Quiet Room get put in the Quiet Room for a session, they make a bear. And I decided on sessions because there's a horror movie
Well,
called
I'm lucky
Session
that
9,
guy was a bot, because if he was good, I would have been dead right now.
So I've been chucking dry ice from
Because he was behind me and I didn't even realize it was
thinking,
coming
how
from
do you
me.
even get rid of dry ice? Like, it doesn't know, because it's literally frozen air and it repels water, which means it's homophobic. Wait, I mean, hydrophobic. Anyways, I'm clinically stupid, so I broke a piece in half and plopped it in my toilet to see what would happen. And it was making these fun little bubbles, so I filled the bathtub and grabbed the rest of it and threw it in some water to see what would happen. And anyways, that was a mistake, because I filled the whole shower up with gases, and I remembered it's not frozen air, it's frozen CO2, and I was getting lightheaded and I wasn't trying to die. So I took the piece out and I brought it to the sink and I jammed it down the drain as best as I could so it would go away. And then I took a deep breath of relief until I looked down to see I was standing in a puddle of water and I may have caused a catastrophic water main failure in the whole neighborhood and flooded
He's not over here anymore. He's gone. He's long gone. He's dead gone.
So I've been chucking dry ice from
So anyways, no way, sure. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Wait.
So anyways,
I gotta look for one side and one other.
no way, sure. Okay.
What? He's hacking.
If you're watching this, you need to like and follow.
Come on, die. You're dead. No, wait. There's no way you can try. Let's go.
For Fortnite code? Well, I'm still at the store. Look, there's a stack of them right here. And I just noticed you commented 7 minutes ago. What? We're not even friends? I guess I'll put this back. Day 10 asking for Fortnite code?
Guys, I'm gonna start a club where if you're sad, follow this account and like just talk to people in the comments so that way you guys just tell how you feel. Guys, I'm gonna start a club where if you're sad, follow this account and like just talk to people in the comments.
One of the most hated characters in Cobra Kai. Like if you agree. Dream, 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 dream. One of the most hated characters in This is the 10-year-old boy, Troy Luna. Troy had 8 siblings and he was a very responsible boy. He always consisted when something was off. One day when he was going into his 5th grade classroom, everything was normal. Everything at school was going great until dismissal happened. At 2:30 in the afternoon when school dismissed, he always rode the same school bus home. So at 2:30 that day, he got on his normal school bus. But he felt like something was off when he got on. There was a different bus driver that day and he smelled something that worried him. He wasn't too worried about the school bus driver because he thought it was just a substitute. But what he smelled that day made him fear for his life. When the school bus had left and it was going down the road, the school bus driver started going at an insane speed. But that's not it. The school bus driver started going past all the kids' homes. With all the kids crying on the bus, he thought to himself, we are getting kidnapped. He then did something so remarkable, it will shock you. Part just coming soon. A boy called 911 on his own bus driver and let the cops... This little girl was found adrift at sea, and decades later, she revealed the horrifying truth. Terry Jo sailed for 84 crewing. Captain Harvey had been picked up by the U.S. Coast Guard along with her. True story of the time Mr. Rogers sued the KKK. If you don't know, Mr. Rogers had a... This woman got petty revenge after getting a parking ticket, and you won't believe how. In 1994, this boy was sentenced to death, but when detectives find after, is guaranteed to make you cry. This is 16-year-old Ricky Johnson, and in 1975, he was accused of murdering a man in a grocery store. The report stated that a young black man shot a old white man in the head. And the case was built around a 12-year-old boy who said he saw Ricky commit the crime. Ricky had never been in trouble before, but that didn't matter because in 1975 he was sentenced to death. But one day before his execution, a new law was passed, so instead he was sentenced to life in prison. Then, after spending 40 years behind bars, detectives make a shocking discovery.
Down here, teammate, down here.
Absolutely blow your mind.
They're in here, they're in that one.
If you want to download the best storytelling app, click my bio.
I got one.
The boy that testified against Ricky said that he was lying the whole time. So Ricky was released and awarded $5 million for his troubles. This woman called the cops on her 3-year-old daughter, and you will not believe why. In 2015, Michelle drove her 3-year-old daughter to dance class. She checked her into her class and then walked to the nearest shopping mall to run some errands. But as she was standing in line, she received a call from the dance studio, and by the sound of the voice, she realized something was very wrong. Michelle immediately sprinted back, and she could not believe what she was seeing. She screamed and immediately called 911. And before I continue, if you want to download the best storytelling app, click the link in my bio to download it for free. Your daughter was playing with a lighter and accidentally set a car on fire. Firefighters 10 minutes later,
Laser, one of them? One of them is 1 HP.
This woman called shocking true story of a man who was killed by his own beard, and you will not believe what happened. This is Hans Steininger from Austria, and he's famous for 2 things. 1, for having the longest beard in the world at 4.2 feet, and 2, being killed by his own beard. In 1567, Han was running away from a fire when he forgot to pick up his own beard. While trying to run away, he tripped on his beard and broke his neck and died shortly after. Shocking truth. His son and dad die in a car accident, and his son is brought back to life, and what he says will shock you, or two. When the boy had finally woke up, Julie wanted her son to understand that his father had died in the car accident. Julie asked him where his father was, and his response shocked her. Landon told his mother that he knew where his father was because he saw him in heaven. Landon's mother was absolutely shocked, but he wasn't done telling her about his experience. And before I continue, if you want to download the best storytelling app, click the link in my bio to download it for free. Landon told his mother that while he was in heaven, he also saw her two other children. At first, she was confused because he was the only child, but soon she realized what he actually meant. The truth is, before Julie had Landon, she was pregnant 2 times, but both times she miscarried. She was very shocked that he knew that because she.
Oh my gosh, she's at what, bro? How is he?
The story helped her heal, and she was just happy to have her son.
Yay!
Son and dad died in a car. His son and dad died in a car. You won't believe what happened to this man who was bitten by the most venomous snakes in the entire world every day for 30 years. This is Steve Ludwin, and after getting bitten by the most poisonous snakes for 30 years and having many near-death experiences, he started to get immune to the venom. This is where it gets really strange. The venom now served a different purpose for him. He now has a superhuman immune system. He says he hasn't gotten sick for over a decade from taking the snake venom. But while
So you're human. I'm a big dog, Mitch on the line. Cooper and the Cooper and the Cooper and the Cooper.
After he put this snake's venom into his bloodstream, he was now able to outperform his ability. He said he wouldn't really get tired anymore or even feel pain. Steve now donates his blood to people who have been bitten by snakes, and he's working on an antidote. You won't believe what happened. Here's a true story about a man who was bitten by the most venomous snakes in the entire world